On this episode, I talk to you about whether or not you should file for bankruptcy. Let's get started.
Joining us this morning is Edward Sanchez, president of Money Sharp.
Hey everyone, this is Edward Sanchez, your registered financial consultant. Welcome back to the Money Sharp Show. And this is episode 7, okay? The title of the show is, Should I File for Bankruptcy? And I will tell you that I'm not giving you any legal advice. I'm not giving you financial advice, but I'm going to break it down for you so you can understand when it is appropriate, when it is fitting for you to look at your bankruptcy options. And so while the question poses, should you file for bankruptcy or should I file for bankruptcy? The question I want you to consider is, when is it appropriate to consider bankruptcy as a financial option to my financial challenges, as an option or a part of a solution, okay? And so what I do with my clients, and I'll tell you that, I have a benchmark, and it comes down to 3 years. If you can work your tail off, and I mean bust your butt, and pay down your debt using proper systems, tools, and strategies to pay down your debt in the cheapest and fastest way possible. If you can do that, pay yourself out of debt in 3 years or less. Let me be clear, I'm not including a mortgage in that. Although we help our clients figure out and own paying off their mortgages in less than 10 years. Paying off a 30-year mortgage in usually somewhere between 7 and 8 years is really exciting, and it's something that we teach our clients, that I teach my clients personally. But I'm talking about debt. So I'm talking about medical bills, credit cards, student loans, vehicles, personal loans, this type of debt, okay? So if you can pay that off in 3 years or less, mortgage aside, if you can pay off that miscellaneous outstanding consumer debt in 3 years or less by using the right strategies and using your hard-earned money, then no, you don't want to consider bankruptcy. And I've seen clients that have been spooked and freaked out by having $8,000 of consumer debt. Kids, that's nothing, okay? Even $20,000, you can pay that down. You can get yourself out of it without having to go through the extreme of what I would say is the equivalent of financial operation, right? If you're going to get an operation, a medical operation, that's bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is going in, cutting open, moving some stuff around, and then closing you back up, and then there's a healing process. So coming out of a bankruptcy, there's always a healing process because of the impact that a bankruptcy has on your credit report. So does the damage merit the action and the steps, okay? Now, if you cannot pay yourself out of debt, if you cannot pay yourself out of the situation that you're in 3 years or less, that is when I would say to you, I wouldn't say file for bankruptcy, I would say consider or put bankruptcy on your table of options available to you for you to investigate, for you to educate yourself about, for you to go find a quality and experienced bankruptcy attorney so she or he can walk you through your options and explain to you if in fact you can benefit from doing a bankruptcy. Okay? So this is very different. It's not legal advice. I'm just telling you when you should feel good about contemplating it or when you should feel good about not even putting it on a table. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time, since 1999, and I see clients that have come through and I've met with and I've spoken with over the phone, and they're trying at all costs to avoid filing a bankruptcy. I understand that. That's not your first option. It never should be. But in trying to avoid a bankruptcy, they'll go through and they will drain their 401k, drain their retirement, to pay off medical bills and credit cards, only to do the inevitable, which is to file a bankruptcy anyway, okay? Or I'll see clients that will refinance time and time again and take out new loans and consolidate, all in the name of avoiding filing a bankruptcy because they really are at a tipping point where their means are beyond their income. Their expenses are beyond their means. So they need some type of relief. They're going to need something either dramatic in what they're doing or a restructure, a massive restructure such as a bankruptcy. But to avoid the bankruptcy, they're making everything more expensive by consolidating and refinancing. And this is what I'm going to tell you. You cannot start healing. I talked about that financial operation, right? The medical operation. When you come out of an operation, there's a healing process, right? There's rehab and there's work you have to do. Well, coming out of a bankruptcy, there's work you have to do. And you cannot heal until you've addressed the core problem. So, if you can pay down your debt in 3 years or less, that's the healing part, and that's you working it on your own. And then in the process of paying down your debt efficiently, you're also improving your credit at the same time. So you're moving in the right direction, and that's what you want. Now, if you pay into your debt and you're paying, working 2 and 3 jobs, in 3 years from now you have the same amount of debt, very likely more if you're making payments with no progress, without any strategies or things in place. Then what happens is that you've put off the rebuilding process, you've put off the healing process by an additional 3 years. So let me walk you through this. Let's say that this is today, okay? And your financial challenges started a year ago. If today, let me do this. If today, can you get this? You got it? If today you still have this baggage of financial challenges behind you, and you get you put in place a system to get yourself out of debt by paying it down aggressively, using the right strategies or systems, then the healing process starts today. And as you move away from this trauma, okay, as you move away from it, the further away you get, the better and the more your credit will improve. Now, if you don't do anything, if you don't implement any strategies, as you move away time-wise, you are dragging the drama and the problems and the financial issues along with you, okay? And if you don't implement any plans or strategies, then what you're doing is you're making payments with no progress, and then you're going to get to this point in the future where you say, well, the bow's going to break, I can't get any further, I do have to file for bankruptcy, and you lost all this time that you had in rebuilding and setting your credit up the right way. You've lost a lot of valuable time. So sometimes it is a matter of ripping off the Band-Aid. And when is that appropriate? Well, if you've recently lost your job because of getting hurt or a downsize, and now you've got a tremendous pay cut. So let's say that you're renting and you can manage your living expenses, but you've got medical bills, you've got credit cards that are beyond your means, you're making half of what you were making before, and for the foreseeable future, you don't have an ability to make that same amount of money again, which means that paying into this, you're just kind of dripping the payments in, slow payments, and it's not going to get you anywhere. That could be a time to consider sitting down with an experienced professional that files many cases, not a robot filer, and usually those guys that you see on TV and have a ton of advertising are not the places you want to go to. But you want to find someone, an attorney that has a lot of experience. She knows the trustees locally. She knows the judges and their quirks and what they're looking for, and can advise you as to how you can benefit or not. But understand that if you go to an acupuncturist, they're going to want to put needles in you. If you go to a surgeon, they're going to want to cut you open. If you go to a bankruptcy attorney, the bankruptcy attorney is going to want you to do bankruptcy. So I don't have any skin in this one way or the other. I just want to let you understand where you're going and what you're going to see. And in the end, you have to go with your gut. You have to feel right about the decisions that you're making, that you can make an educated decision about the process moving forward. You understand why this is a good move for you, or you understand why it's not a good fit for you. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with that. That's when you consider bankruptcy. You have to find these strategies, and we offer them in my courses. Obviously, I feel that we do it better than anyone else online, but there's a ton of free resources, not only that we offer, but all over YouTube, in our community here, all over online, where you can find tools and strategies to use. And what I'm talking about are not refinancing. I'm not talking about consolidation. I'm not talking about restructuring. Those are just financial products that make your debt. They just shuffle it around and make it more expensive. I'm talking about you using your hard-earned money to pay down your debt in the quickest and fastest way possible. So I'll leave you with that. Again, the question is not, should I file for bankruptcy, but is, when is it appropriate to consider and put that option on the table? And if you can do it in 3 years or less, you paying yourself down improves your credit, you're moving in the right direction, and the healing starts today. Not doing anything just prolongs the healing process, and you don't want that. You want to start getting better as quickly as possible. I'm going to leave you with that. If you have comments, you've seen this before, someone putting themselves in a more challenging situation only to fail in the future, let me know in the comments. Please subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, and as always, I want to thank Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins, and Gary Vaynerchuk. Thank you, gentlemen, for all that you do. Have a great day.